Bow, we are live. Give our folks a couple minutes to get in. For those watching on the replay, this is the Friday Live brought to you by the Hood. I'm the host as always. My name is Jimmy, and I got my partner in crime, brother Corey with me. Corey, what's up, good brother?
What it is though? What's going on, y'all? Brand new
Everything good?
show, brand new year. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So, for those that may be tuning in for the first time, we come here every Friday. We chop it up with our folks. We give away some Bitcoin. We talk about any and everything. As you come in, I see people coming in now. Please let us know who is here, so we know who's kicking it with us. You know what I mean? We're gonna do a Bitcoin giveaway. We're gonna talk greasy about Vanguard.
You funny.
Talk about a couple other things. You know what I mean? Rich is in the building. What's good, Rich? How you good, brother?
Yizzo.
Hey, Adrian, what's going on? How are you? How are you? Pascal's here. My man Vidon. I'm about to talk greasy about your folks, Don. But it is what it is, man. Welcome. So this, like I said, this is our Friday show. So gotta check on my brother, see how his week was. Core, like how was your week, man? Any good news? Anything interesting happening in your life?
I lived through it. That's the all I can say is I lived through it. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing good, bad, or indifferent happening. It was just, everything went back to what it was. You know what I mean? So
Okay, that's what's up.
doing me. Like nothing. Nothing flashy. I ain't make no whole bunch of money. I ain't lose no whole bunch of money. I just, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's a positive. You didn't lose none either, so that's a positive.
yeah, like I ain't do, you know what I mean? Like ain't no money fall in my lap, but I also ain't catch a stray of like a $5,000 bill out the blue. I ain't catch one of them either. So
yeah, man, everything good, man. So I, did a little trading. I had a place for rent in South Philly that someone started moving in today, so that's dope. It was always dope to see somebody like get their moving, the young man and his dogs. That was kind of dope. Got that out off my plate on the real estate side. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk about the main topic in a second, which is my beef with one Vanguard. I call them Don's people, man, because me and Don have always been waving their flag, man. But Don, you alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, And also I want to talk too about the movie Bitcon. We talked about the other one a little bit on our pod, but not really. Which was Dumb Money. So a couple good movies out. But let's check in more with our folks, man. GC is in the building. GC said, I seen what Vanguard said about Bitcoin ETFs. Yeah, man, they foul. They foul. So FOH to them. All right, so what else? Wayne is in the building. What's good, Wayne? How are you? Bank earnings. Yes. Staying warm and inside. I hate the Midwest. What's the weather like over there? Where you at? You in the shop. So what's the weather like over there? Speaking of that, Detroit's in the building. What up, though?
What it is, though?
What's up, Jamil? Jamil, I appreciate the feedback on our last podcast episode. Definitely appreciate it. That was episode 200 in Steve Atwater, or 227. Next week, we got 200. I say Marshall Falk. You say Darryl Green, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You aging yourself by saying Darryl Green too, bro.
Easy, young Jeezy.
I mean, you went all the way back to the 80s, man. Like,
hey, man. Listen.
See, GC, this is the part that people don't get, man. He said, I hope that thing dropped to 30K for a little minute. Listen, man, it's the time to stack corn. When you a true stacker, you get excited on both sides, when it's going up and when it's going down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll talk about that in a minute too, though. But man, shout out to everybody here, man. There's a number of folks here already. That's kind of dope. But let's get right to the ish, man. So Corey and I's last podcast was about the ETF and why I think it's a net positive. So it's funny because I go back and forth with folks on the internet. Well, let me stop that. I really don't. It's people that are friends of mine. We talk.
Yeah, I don't
talk to strangers no more. I left that alone. But it's interesting because I have a lot of people who are like, for lack of a better term, I call them tradfi. They don't really deal in cryptocurrencies or anything. They consider it too speculative. But then I have friends who are deep in the crypto waters, and they don't deal with anything tradfi. And I'm in the middle. So my crypto folks, they like, yo, why you even care about that? And then my TradFi folks think that I'm crazy for, actually buying real Bitcoin. So it's just a weird dynamic. But I get to hear both sides of the argument. And I was very excited about the ETF, and not only the inflows coming into the system, but for just different strategies I can use that I don't want to use on my regular Bitcoin. See, and me and Corey, we talked about this. I look at Bitcoin as being so valuable, I don't even want to like put it on exchanges no more. Like, it's like the precious. I don't even want to. I was
My
telling Jay about that
precious.
today. I was like, yo, I don't even want to put it on DeFi
Funny as
sites.
hell.
I don't even want to put it up there. So this was doing,
Not tradfi, traditional finance.
yeah, TRAD, as in traditional finance. My apologies. I'm just talking in jargon. I hate when people do that to me. So, you know, I had a family member in the hospital this week, and went to make sure they were okay. And the doctors and nurses are walking by, and they like talking, and they using acronyms and words. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? But people do it in every profession, though.
Yeah, say it though. Say it plain.
But it don't even matter what profession it is. You could be in like a restaurant or something, and they start talking shorthand and all kind of stuff. You're like, yo, what are you talking about?
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like,
So
hold up.
we got to remember everybody don't do like even you an educator. Y'all probably got your own words, and you know what I'm saying. I've seen y'all do it too. Y'all be like such and such as EPP, and they this that and the third, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Anyway, TradFi is traditional finance, Jamil. So Dan and Tay, whoa, ain't seen y'all, man. Welcome.
What it is though.
So usually hype builds up for ETFs and they sell off for some time after then and rally back up. The funny thing about that, GC, that's how like a lot of not ICOs, IPOs happen too. Same way. All right, so the weather in the shy, a high of 1 on Sunday. Yo,
Yikes.
I thought she was missing a number until I saw Sunday 0, Monday with -40 wind chill. I did hear that the Chiefs game is supposed to be like -30 when they start that game. Yeah, I'm cool on that.
Yeah,
I've been to Chicago one
cool
time
on
in the
that.
winter, and I remember like, oh, this is why they call it the Windy City. It ain't regular wind. Y'all got something else going on with them tall buildings downtown too. Like y'all got, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I ain't for
no,
that.
Mr. Noble, see what's good. Appreciate you pulling up. And Jamil, we already answered that for you. TradFi. They ain't even really put no money into Bitcoin yet. See. All right, GC, you get it. I see GC been getting his study on because that's exactly GC stealing all my points, but he's right, and a lot of it has to do with GBTC and how that is navigating from the trust to the ETF. But you're right though, GC. You're absolutely right. Not Gollum. Yeah, man. I'm like Gollum now, man. The precious.
The precious.
Peace. Jose, I didn't forget about you with that information either, bro. It's just a lot going on, but I got you, man. And I appreciate you as always. The Hawk is definitely out in the shy.
Yeah.
The Hawk is out in the shy. So getting back to the topic about TradFi versus the crypto folks and their different perspectives on this ETF. But I was excited about it. And a couple of the reasons I talked about in the pod, I'm about to cover call the game all crazy, right? I'm about to utilize strategies with tax advantage accounts in ways that I wasn't really doing. And people say, but you can get Bitcoin and IRAs now, but the price to do so is not the same. I could pay like ARC is like 21 bips or IBIT. Sorry, here I go again. The expense ratio, the expense to actually buy the ETF. I could do that at so cheap and then put it in the IRA and get price action. So there's strategies I want to use to do that. The cover call strategy I want to use, and I could use that to borrow against and not have to worry about my precious actually being up. So, it's just interesting. So, it got launched, and I talk about this all the time. I talked about it even in our class, and we got to go back and redo our class because so much has changed since then. But I talk about in the class that Vanguard is one of my longest brokerages, one of my longest relationships. In fact, Vanguard is one of the longest relationships I've had with any company. I've known Vanguard longer than I know my wife. Like there's only one company probably that I know for a fat core that I've had a longer relationship with than Vanguard. And that's T-Mobile.
Ah,
Just
yeah.
as a consumer.
Yeah, I had T-Mobile since the 1990s, bro.
Bro, when I first got T-Mobile, it was 94, 95, and it was called OmniPoint.
Yep. That's exactly where I got it. Yep.
I was downtown on Chestnut Street, got my OmniPoint account set up, right? And so it was OmniPoint. As a matter of fact, it changed names a couple times before it became T-Mobile. It was OmniPoint, then it was VoiceStream. Remember that?
Yep.
Right, so we really dating ourselves now. So I had OmniPoint, VoiceStream, and T-Mobile, but I've been with them since 95. I told the story in here before. I've been with them so long that when it became T-Mobile and everything, they actually gave me stock. Like literally, like, yo, here goes some shares for being with us for that long. It wasn't that much, like 3 shares or something like that. But still, they gave me shares like as a long-term customer. So that's probably my longest relationship. But Vanguard is right after that. And when I first got Vanguard, it was before the website, before the app and all that, even though the app is still trash in 2023. Even Don, you got to admit that, though, Don. The app is trash, though, in comparison to everything else in the marketplace. So that's how long I've been with them. And honestly, that's where I had most of my chicken. I do have other brokerages. I'm caught in between the TD Schwab thing. Shout out to Kahan because he looked out for me this week, too. But talking to him, they moved all his TD accounts over to Schwab.
Yep.
And they moved one of my accounts and left 2 of them with TD. And what I learned this week through this process is that they have one more move that's happening in May, and then everything will be moved over completely to Schwab. I just learned that this week going through this process. All right, back to the story. So I go to buy the ETF the day it announces. I'm doing all my research. I'm like, all right, I'm going with BlackRock. Shout out to Pastor too, because Pastor knew exactly what strategy I was taking. I was like, yo, if I'm gonna do this, I want to go with the gorilla in the room. You know what I'm saying? It was either going to be them or ARK because I like ARK's expense ratio, but 0.25 versus 0.21, I'm going with the gorilla. So I said I'm going to buy some IBIT. It lets me pull it up where I can see it. It lets me even calculate how much I want to buy. I click to buy it, and it's like, yo, no, right? So now I'm like, all right, what's going on? Get on the phone with him. This is where I got pissed. It wasn't the fact that you didn't let me buy it, right? It's how you talk to me, yo. Y'all really talk greasy to me, man. Like, I didn't even really check the internet to see like whether anybody else was having this issue. I was like, let me just see what they tell me. Bob continues to tell me like, yo, you can't do that. I said, so is it a short-term thing because this is the first day, or is this a long-term decision? He said, we're not supporting it ever. I was like, what do you mean? He said, it's for philosophical reasons that we're not allowing you to buy it.
Okay.
Yo, hold up. First of all, philosophical reasons, and then you're not allowing me to. All right, now we got a problem, dog. That's what I told him. I said, what you mean? Whose philosophical reasons? He's talking about, them as a company. But then it hit me like as I was getting ready to snap on the dude. I'm like,
that's their
right.
Yeah,
no, that's their right.
Their company.
Yeah, so my thing is that's your right. And I do believe that companies should be able to service who they want to service, right? So
but I'm gonna move my chicken because you playing in my face.
That's my thing. I'm just not the right customer for you anymore. And the funny thing is that's okay. Someone tried to tell me on IG, well, they ain't gonna miss you. They got 7 trillion under management. I'm like, that's fine. They're not gonna miss my bread, but I'm still taking my bread. Like, you know what I mean? I'm still taking my bread.
Yeah, I'm
and
moving.
I told Bo, I was like, all right, so for philosophical reasons, where do I go to on the app to start this transfer? He's laughing and he like let me know. So then I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, let me go to the streets. And when I say the streets now in 2024, I'm not talking about the literal streets. Because funny thing is about the streets in Philly, they so dead. Like cats be online, like even more than the streets now. But anyway, that's another story for another show. So I went to the internet, right? And obviously they're not talking about it on their Twitter. But as I go to the internet, I see the trending topics. One of the trending topics was boycott Vanguard. Right? So I'm sitting there like, yo.
Vanguard with a bad one.
I guess I'm like, yo. All right, people are really pissed. It's not just me. And there were some people that were pissed who didn't even want the ETF. They just didn't like the way they handled it. Because what people don't realize is leading up to the first day, I guess there are people like whatever their training was, they weren't telling people. They were telling people like, yeah, we'll have it. Right? So then I guess they made a corporate decision somewhere along the line because I can tell because I wasn't the only one that got the philosophical reasons. So that was like a talking point that, they're reading from a script. But let me show you something. So I was laughing because I went to their Twitter site and every post that they put up, you know what people are doing, right? People spamming their posts. Let me know you can see my screen, Corey.
I see it.
All right. So this is Vanguard's official Twitter page. They put the last post they put up. They didn't even put up a post today. That's how I guess they get tired of getting spammed. They put up a post that says they're talking about a Roth IRA and there's 662 comments. But if you click on that to see the comments, first question, can I buy Bitcoin using Vanguard? Here go a statement, right? A canned statement. Another person, I can't buy. So I'm like, all right. So I'm just going down the line. Can I buy Bitcoin using Vanguard? They are getting flooded with this, right? This is all that's up there. No one's even talking about what they're posting about. Someone says you're manipulating the markets by only allowing the selling of GBTC and not buying. Grayscale should sue you guys. Are you sure that's even legal? Hey guys, I can't seem to access a new Bitcoin. Like this is like literally, I can go on for pages and pages of this, bro. This is all that's on there.
Yeah, they playing themselves right now.
So look, go to the last thing they posted before then. So I can't buy ARC B on. Yo, this is all that's on there, yo. And I'm like, all right, so they're pissing people off. I read a couple articles that said the outflows they got was something that they've never seen before. Now, the whole thing about $7 trillion under management, that they are one of the biggest. But I've seen big companies like really play themselves in the marketplace, and I think Kodak, I think Blockbuster, like, not saying that's going to happen because they have so much capital and they got a lot of boomer capital. So I doubt that'll happen. But this is going to affect them, even if it's a small amount. Their name is mud in certain spaces. Right? Because here's the thing about that boomer. Here's the thing about that boomer capital. They're gonna die
at some point.
Yeah, they're gonna die, right? So let's get back to GC's point. GC says that they only own 2620 BTC, and that's no money to BlackRock. BlackRock allegedly set aside $2 billion just to buy Bitcoin, and they haven't even gotten into that yet because they're just getting outflows now from GBTC. How can it be ETF with only one asset? I thought an ETF. So ETF is an exchange traded fund. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bucket, right? Sam, what's really good? Brittany's in the building. What's up, Brittany? That's an interesting point. They trying to take market share from Grayscale with GC is on it. GC got all my GC. You read my notes, bro. Omnipoint voice stream where Jamie Lee. All right. So Jamil's dating himself too. You remember that?
Yeah, Jamil, old as we are.
Don talking about their app. He called it doo-doo butter. So that's how he feels. That's how he feels about it.
Hey, that app must be trash. I love Vanguard.
All of my TD accounts. So Pascal, like they said when I talked to him this week, because all right, so that was getting back to the story real quick to talk about Pascal's point. So I'm like, cool, I'm moving. I said I'm just gonna move everything to Schwab because eventually that's where my TD is going anyway. Schwab had them all for sale. I still was able to buy. I have a Wells Fargo brokerage account, and I bought some at my account that's still with TD. But when I got the lowdown from the boy at Schwab, he said they had different like tranches. So they had like a couple already. And it's weird because it's someone with 3 accounts, they moved one but not the other 2. When I was talking to Kahan, he said they moved all his, so all his stuff is with Schwab now. So he was part of the early tranches. So there's still one left. He said, but by May, everything is over. Everything will be officially Schwab. There will be no more TD. They even took Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is like their trading platform. They just adopted it. Pascal, you are right. Everybody watching, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the love button. Show us some love. Help us fight these algos. It's some people who was big on Vanguard. Now they're speaking out against it. Yours truly. I listen, in our classes, I would tell people because it was just easy. And I was even talking to Don in a group not too long ago, and we were talking about how trash the app was and how the way that we set our Vanguard accounts up, we don't even use the app. We just buy stuff and set it and forget it. But you're not going to tell me what you're allowing me to do. Like, even your word is like, what you mean you allowing me to do? It's my bread. This is something that's approved from FINRA. It's approved by the SEC. So even if I want to put my money in, like, I just want to burn it, guess what? It's my money. And then the other part of this, though, Core, is I start going down their site. I'm like, y'all allow 3 times leverage inverse ETFs. So are you really trying to protect people? You allow people to invest in inverse Kramer ETF. You allow the SPACs to come on there and just like basically run scams
and do whatever they want.
So it's like, come on, man. I see Merrill Lynch.
But a Bitcoin ETF is where you drawing the line. That's where you drawing the line.
Yeah,
like you're a weirdo.
That's another boomer company, Rich. Merrill Lynch is now owned by Bank of America, I think. Is that who owns them now? Somebody let me know that. I think they're owned by Bank of America now.
Yeah, one of the big banks do own Merrill.
GC said never fool with Vanguard. I don't care how cheap them fees is. Oh yeah, Wells Fargo has an account. Yo, Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo definitely has a brokerage account. I mean, everybody's free at this point, and they also allow you to buy partial shares there too. They call it. Let me see. Let me open it up on my phone and tell you what it's called. But they do have one. If you have a Wells Fargo account, you can get one. I think it's for only for their banking customers, but that's easy enough to get a bank account there. So if you have a bank account there, it allows you to get a brokerage account, and they got everything on there too. Like they call it. Hold on one second, but it's definitely a Wells Fargo brokerage. It's called Wells Fargo Stock Fractions. So it's a regular traditional brokerage, but the new thing is now they let you do fractions there too. So I might just buy some BlackRock stock now. It's funny. I used to have a bunch of BlackRock stock years ago. I had BlackRock and Blackstone, and them Jones shot, and I got out of it and bought some more VU. They want to control Bitcoin. Pascal, I'm glad you said that, right? So this is a conversation that I've been having with people literally all week. And the crazy part is a lot of the conversations I have are with people who are like real big influencers, quote unquote influencers, in like black personal finance. And that's the one thing that a lot of them got wrong, which is the idea of control. Because the questions they were asking me or telling me were like, yo, now that it's with Wall Street, like it's no longer for the people and they have control over Bitcoin. It's not the same. It's no longer decentralized. And I'm like, well, the problem
They
with
only
that
have
is,
control over the price action.
yeah, the problem with that is they don't control the network. Decentralization deals with big B, the Bitcoin network, not little b, the currency. So you can literally have 99.99% of all Bitcoin in existence, and you still have no say so in how the network runs. That's the genius of Bitcoin and what separates it from every other cryptocurrency, in which I don't even consider a cryptocurrency because none of the other ones can say that, where it doesn't matter. Bitcoin is rules without rulers. So a lot of times people say it's too concentrated, too many people own a little bit of it, but that doesn't even matter. You can't control it. So even if they want to control Bitcoin, they can't. I literally have a node running right behind me, and if they like decided they want to do something, I can say nah, FOH. All right. Let's see. I had the same problem with them. Oh yeah. You're not gonna tell me like what we allowing you to do. They just trying to make it sound good. Yeah, they coming up with new. I saw they kind of changed their the first day it was like it was a little aggressive. They came they still have their talking points, but I'm looking online on their Twitter account and their message is a little less aggressive.
Yeah, because that's what really like you can say, look, philosophically, we're not doing this, and we're sorry that it's not being allowed right now.
Yeah.
You may think about it sometime in the future, but for right now, we're not
Yo,
getting.
they didn't even say sorry though. They didn't even apologize. They was like, nah, we ain't
Nah,
allowing you to do
Brody.
it. Yeah,
Nah, Brody.
it's like,
Like,
yo, you're not even
no.
coming at me with the, Bank of America bought it back in 07, 08. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure whether it was still there or not. But yeah, I do remember that. That's right, because Morgan Stanley got E-Trade. I was thinking about going E-Trade, but I was like, I already got the Schwab. Let's just move everything to Schwab. I remember when Thiel was talking about forcing these state funds to allocate capital towards Bitcoin. Yeah, that's because he was, but he kind of went to the Bitcoin Cash route. He wanted bigger block sizes. Yeah. So let's see. Good.
Those cities who Miami, Philadelphia, and those countries that are on Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin standard as far as cash and capital, their whole outlook is about to change.
So it's a book.
And that's something that no one is talking about.
Yeah, it's a book I started reading. I didn't finish it. I've already quoted it several times, even though I didn't finish it. I'll finish it this year. It's called Check Your Financial Privilege. And what the author talks about in the book is a lot of times when we look at Bitcoin, we're looking at it from the perspective of someone living in the States, right? And we don't understand like how inflation works in other places and how even with the volatility, Bitcoin has saved people like even Nigeria, right? What happened there? Like it's kind of saved people's lives and allow people to save their wealth, right? So sometimes that's why it says check your financial privilege. It's not a U.S. asset; it's a global asset.
Yep,
it's a global asset. So when you have governments that just really defund the currency. For some people, this can save their life, and that's something that like a lot of times we forget. So that's one of the things that
It it
I
it,
think
it,
everybody should read
it,
that book.
it gives people a fighting chance against corrupt governments.
Yeah,
And so the thing about what people don't understand about government is about control, right? The government is there to control a large number of people. That is literally what the government is there to do. And when you have corrupt people controlling large amounts of people, then you start to have issues.
yeah,
And so when you, especially around money, you know what I mean? The reason why, and I've seen scholars write about this about Africa, why Africa hasn't grown at the pace of other countries because of so many corrupt people who run in the countries that were there and defunding those countries. Those
yeah.
countries and taking the wealth into their families, but not, you know, letting the people enjoy the wealth of those nations. And
I mean, this
so,
goes on all across the world. Nigeria is only one example. Like
no,
I
for
can give
sure.
you their naira, what they did with the naira. I think theirs was the naira, but it's several countries. I mean, El Salvador, with what's his name, President Bukele, they jumped on the Bitcoin standard and kind of used that. But just like when you start to think globally, open your mind up and think globally, it gives you a different perspective. Um, let's see.
Yeah, everybody that was
Cookie's in the building. What's up, Cookie?
in the other
El
thing,
Salvador.
right? I was thinking about this the other day, right? I was reading an article about Odell Beckham Jr. When he got that Rams contract, he took it all in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin at the time was 30 racks.
Yeah.
And when Bitcoin dropped to 15 racks, they was talking about how he lost half his wealth and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now that it's 45K, my man up 100, up 50% on his money. Nobody's writing that story.
Well, that's the way. But that's the way everything works, bro. That's just the way. Interesting you say that. Let me get the GCs because that's the point of like how media works, right? He says same with the SEC and market manipulation on Twitter, talking about they was hacked. That was crazy, bro. Like, so for those who don't know, Tuesday, the SEC said, hey, the ETFs are approved, right? And then they said, no, we were hacked. Then you find out the SEC doesn't have two-factor authentication, which is insane in itself. But at the time they did that, it changed the market, right? The market shifted, and that's why he's saying that it's market manipulation. But I'm glad you said that, GC, because one of the things that people have been saying to me in terms of why they don't like Bitcoin and crypto, they were like because the market is manipulated too much. Like we don't know what the real price is because
Do you
it's a
know
lot of
anything about your market?
people are saying it's a lot of wash trading that happens between like stable coins and Bitcoin, where people are just doing this to push the price up. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but here's the point. I'm like, all right, so after you do your full analysis of how the crypto market is manipulated, let's talk about the stock market now.
Yeah, let's actually look at the market that we're
Let's talk about the stock market now, right?
man.
You can't look at one without the other. Like you want to talk about me? It's almost like when people say Bitcoin is only used for money laundering.
I'm like, do you know what the
Money
US
laundering didn't
dollar
start
is
with
used
crypto,
for?
bro.
Bro, do
People
you
don't have money.
actually, did you people who say these things, and I almost used the S word, and I'm trying for 2024 not to use that word. Stupid. So this is the only time I'm going to say it for the year 2024. I'm trying not to use that word, but people who say these things, you could tell they don't read nothing. You could tell that they don't have any market experience. You could tell that they don't have any of the prerequisites to talk about the stuff that they talk about. Like it's just so for somebody who's actually in the market, it's so obvious that they don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, to me, it's very simple. Give me any market that's not manipulated.
You can't find a market as long as there's businesses and there's lots of money going through there. Every market is going to be manipulated because that's how they. Never mind, man. I'm just listen.
Well, sure. What's going on? Hey, sis. How
Hey,
you
what's going on?
doing? Gary Gensler still not fired yet. No. He could probably got a book that's gonna keep him employed. Everything is a speculative asset. There you go, GC. Once you understand that, then you know how to navigate the world and just basically look out for yourself because everything, including my beloved real estate, I see how real estate the market is manipulated. Like come on, man. Like it's that market is manipulated through debt in all kinds of ways. But let's not get into that. We're going to start getting them positive stories now. I'm sure BlackRock and them got the marketing money on deck. Yo, what's her face? She was out here wilding this week. Ark, Kathy Woods.
Kathy?
Yeah, she was out here. She got on TV saying all kinds of wild numbers. She was like, bear cases, we had 250 a coin. Just a regular case, we had 600. She was like, and we have a bull market, we had about 1.5 by 2030. I was like, all right, here she go pumping her bags. She said 25% of her net worth is in Bitcoin.
She lying.
I mean, maybe she is lying, but it was all part of her rollout. Everything's a rollout, dog. Like she was talking like
that. Come on, Kathy.
Listen, we talked about manipulation, right? She pumping her bags, dog. But
Wolf from MicroStrategy had said that, I would believe him. But
that's what she said. She said 25%.
Yeah,
I had someone the other tell that's the reason why they won't buy.
That's a monkey face lie.
Bitcoin been around for less than 2 decades. Listen, people have been laundering money since I know at least in ancient Rome, because I've read about it several times and seen it in docs.
As soon as banks were invented, somebody started laundering money. Literally. Banking is money laundering. The hell?
Now, see, you about to mess up our signal. So you start talking like that.
All right, my fault.
So you start talking like that, our signal start messing up. But anyway, any type of price action is manipulation. How about when they say Bitcoin is a scam because they say it need new buyers? You can say that about most investments, though.
You need, because you gotta have volume.
You gotta have volume, and you gotta
have volume.
That goes to the dust that we always talk about. Something has to be desirable to have a market, right?
Yeah, anything that's going to sell gotta have some kind of volume.
That's why I be laughing. Like I used to laugh at this back in the day with the penny stocks, but then I start seeing it in the crypto space with the shit coins, where I never forget. Like back in the 90s, and I've seen people have penny stocks, and them joints will shoot up. And they try to get out of it, and there's nobody to sell to because there's no volume. You're like, yo, I'm up 30 grand. Like, no, you're not. Who you selling it to? There's nobody to buy it.
You ain't up until it's in your account.
Yo, I saw that in the DeFi space when they used to offer them crazy APRs, and you start getting all the liquidity in there, and next thing you know, boom. You're like, hold up, but it was all this. Yeah, that's manipulation too. But anyway,
I mean, again. We've been in the deepest, darkest recesses of crypto. We've been in the market, so we know what manipulation really looks like. We also have studied and taught this stuff, and so like a lot of this stuff is just straight up tomfoolery. Like people just be talking, just dumb as like, what are you talking about? And this is why I don't get on social media a lot, because if I get on social media, I'm gonna start arguing with people's children again.
Yeah, like. Said Kathy gonna hype something up for sure. She did it with she got on TV when she got her Tesla bags, and the numbers she was talking were through the roof. Yeah, she definitely always pumping her bags.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not even bring that up. JP Morgan and the dope boat. Yeah, man.
I'm not talking nothing about this because I don't want to do.
Of course, JP Morgan has Bitcoin. All right, so that's kind of my story with Vanguard. So at Vanguard, like y'all the ops now. I'm in the Charles Schwab gang. Shout out to Schwab.
Gang.
I'm an official member of the Charles Schwab Mafia. You know what I'm saying? We riding on Vanguard. So like, y'all went from like me being thing is I still ain't giving up my MGK. It's just in Schwab now. I'm just not using y'all as a brokerage. I still like some of y'all funds though. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Like VU is still VU. But I ain't messing with y'all brokerage no more. Y'all not gonna tell me what y'all gonna allow me to do. I don't care who you are. And that's another thing about like studying and reading about Bitcoin. You start like thinking like, yo, you can't tell me what to do with my money, especially in 2024, because there's so many options. It's so many options. Like I looked up and I was like, all right, where I'm going. I had Fidelity, right? I mean, shit. And here's the other funny part. Robinhood, right? Yo, Robinhood saw what was going on with Vanguard. Let me see if I can find their post. They start making jokes and posting memes about Vanguard. And said that if anybody moves their money from Vanguard to Robinhood, they will give you a 1% bonus.
That's funny. Like, yeah, give me some of that old money.
I said, yo, hold up.
Give me some of that old money.
not that I'll be going to Robinhood because but look at this though. This is their Twitter account. They start clapping at Vanguard. Look, they put this meme up. Their next post
They
before
just
that was
added.
like their meme. It says excited about the Bitcoin ETF news. All 11 are now available on Robinhood, and when you transfer your brokerage account to Robinhood, you get a 1% bonus. So they use it as a way to to start clapping at Vanguard.
Steal some of them accounts. Steal some of that. Steal some of those accounts.
They straight set up a 1% bonus to move your bread. I ain't going there, but I'm just saying, like, it's too many options, and that's the great thing about
You got Webull. You got
M1,
the one with the M1.
Fidelity.
Yeah, you got.
What else is there?
Yeah, like
Schwab was there.
There's so many. It's like 50 different options.
It didn't used to be that way though, bro. Like it did. E-Trade, I forgot about E-Trade. E-Trade had like all that stuff. It didn't used to be that way, and that's the thing. Like I remember years ago when you just could. I remember years ago when you had to deal with what you had to deal with. But now we got way too many options for you to tell me what you allowed me to do. So y'all the ops now. Couple of things I'm gonna talk about before we do our giveaway. Hey, CS gang, yeah. I just got jumped in this week, yo. So I'm officially jumped in. I caught the fade, and now I'm a member. You know what I mean?
He said I got jumped in.
I got jumped in this week. Earnings play. See, look, he said I just seen Webull Ash a block rack. Morgan Stanley. It's just too many options, yo. It's too many options, man. Tim, what's good, Tim? How are you? Thanks for pulling up. I've been with Vanguard since 2017. Jimmy, why not just open another account if you want? So I already had other accounts, and it wasn't just that reason. I didn't like their logic in terms of why they told me I couldn't do it. They literally told me, we're not allowing you to do something. You're not going to tell me that you're not what you're allowing me to do and not to do. And to me, it's hypocritical when I see other assets that you have on your books. You're selling 3 times. They have 3 times leverage shorts on their site, dog. 3 times leverage shorts. You're not protecting the investor if you're allowing people to buy stuff like that. You can buy the inverse Kramer ETF. So anyway, and that's just a handful of things. There's a number of things they sell that are, to me, way more problematic. Even if I were to accept their analysis of, say, Bitcoin and say they're correct, which I don't, but even if I did, there's other stuff you got pulled off the site too. But it's just too much too many options for me in 2024 for you to tell me what you allow me to do. And something else that I realized too, through this process, right? I was about to use a terrible analogy, right? I'm gonna use it anyway, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been around for a long time, man. You ever been in a long-term relationship before, right? And then you get out of that relationship and you start talking to other people, and then you realize, like, damn, everybody don't treat me the way she used to. But you were so used to being in that relationship. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not trying to turn this into a gender wars podcast. That's not what I'm doing.
I'm just all I'm saying is.
But here's what I say, Core.
It happens. It happens.
I've been with Vanguard so long that I didn't really even deal with other brokerages. Like I had other accounts, but I never had to call in or anything like that. So when I called Schwab to make the move, first things first is they picked up. Like
they customer services.
Yo, the customer service was on another level. Now maybe they knew that this was going on. So like playing devil's advocate.
No, that's the way it always is. Because I've had a TD/Schwab account for the last 10 years.
Dog,
I've never had a problem with customer service.
That was my first time calling their customer service. They treated me so well that I was like in shock. I'm like, hold up, I've been with this girl this so long and she don't do this to me. Like, what you mean this is out here? So it's like I didn't realize that I can get this kind of customer service. When I start the process of moving on my stuff, they call me later to check on me. Everything fine, you're okay. I said, hold on, what is this? I'm not even used to this. So, because I'm skeptical of everything, I'm like, it must be a lot of people moving their stuff and they like,
No, that's the way they generally are. You get a call back, you get some that's generally what their customer service is. Now, I'm not saying that they perfect because when the market, when the young boys from Wall Street Bets was doing the monkey business, the customer service wasn't that friendly. but besides that, I've never had any issues with because I call customer service because I hit a lick. I ain't even going front. And they was like, no, bro. I was like, what you mean? No. Like, either pay me or I'm out. And they paid me, but it was, it took some rigmarole to get my cake.
But I was like, yo, I didn't realize I can get this kind of customer service. Vanguard be having me on hold all along. I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, this is something new to me. I'm like, I can get treated like this out here? What I've been doing these last
Yeah, man.
25 years. Anyway, so that was another thing too. Like, damn, like if you tired of your brokers telling you what you can to get.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's definitely the principle. And said he agrees. M1 finance is low, dope for long-term investing. Yeah, so M1 is dope too. I got M1 account too, but their customer service isn't as good as what I got from Schwab either though. I remember I called M1 for something one time, and I swear dude like was in his apartment or something when he answered the phone. Like I don't know who they hired for customer service, but dude had a lot going on in his background. So I was like, I don't know what's going on there, but but I do like their platform. I like the idea of pies. I like the idea of even borrowing with them. Not that I suggest you ever do that, but the way they set their stuff up is dope. It was kind of interesting in the marketplace when they came with those pies and all that. So that was dope.
Yeah, because now everybody copied them because they trying to move.
Yeah, I know. It's the principality.
That's definitely
Edward, how are you? Appreciate you pulling up.
What it is though.
Yeah, TD customer service was great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I've been with
these. Schwab don't mess that part up.
Yeah, well, listen, Schwab they were excellent. Like this week with that process, and maybe I guess you are excellent when I'm moving like my fucking when I'm moving that amount of chicken over there. I guess you are going to treat me right, but at the same time though, Vanguard. Vanguard got that boomer money, so they probably got people in there with like 100 million easy. So
they don't care about your measly 25 years of service that you put in with them. They don't
care about my bread. I love Schwab except for no fractional trades on ETFs. So, Vanguard didn't have it either, so that's not really going to affect me either. It was, full shares. Does Schwab let you do fractional shares on individual companies? Not that I really buy too many individual companies, but I was just wondering. Anyway, with that being said, though, yeah, so that was my story with Vanguard. We're going to do our giveaway soon. A couple of things I want to talk about, Core, before we get out of here. Shout out to our brother, Mark Smalls. Oh, so Pascal says, yes, they do. All right, cool. So I got a couple of calls this week. The most recent one is Mark, who hit me up early this morning. I'm talking like 8 something. He's like, yo, did you watch the Bitcon doc yet? I was like, yo, I didn't watch it. I know the story, but I didn't watch the doc yet. I said, but I'll watch it today. I'll watch it this afternoon before we jump on. So I went and watched that Bitcon documentary on Netflix. How many of you guys that are with us? Damn, it's a number of folks with us. How many of you guys that are with us saw the documentary on Netflix called Bitcon? I know, Corey, you said you saw bits and pieces of it because your provider was acting a little crazy. But
yes,
what you saw, what did you think of the doc, and what do you think about the story overall?
I mean, that's only one story. Like we talked about this as it was happening. We was telling people like, what do they actually do? Like, who are these people? What do they actually do? Why are you investing so much money in something? Anyway,
high levels of shit coinery.
Yeah, like what are y'all doing? So for me, watching it from that perspective, I was like, damn. And then a lot of those stories were in the news, so I understand. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't awe inspiring or anything like that. Like it was just I already knew 90% of the story already.
So for me, what I didn't know is how much of an a-hole the dude is, and
that
boy been a snitch his whole life. In the beginning, it was a dude that grew up with him who was like, yo, dude wanted to be, he's like, yo, dude aspired to be a criminal. Like, he openly talked about it. Like, yo, I want to be a criminal. Like, so, but he talked about how they stole like scripts, the script joint. I'm not trying to give it away for those that didn't see it. But he was like, yo, when they got COVID, he's like, yo, boy snitched on me. Like, he been acting, having criminal behavior and then snitching on folks literally his whole life. So I didn't realize how much of an a-hole he was there. But I think the biggest takeaway for me watching that whole thing play out is some of these scams that make millions and even billions of dollars, they be the most simplest scams. It's like nothing complex about it.
Nothing.
They straight went on LinkedIn, put up there that they all went to Harvard, put up these fake jobs at Wells Fargo, Citibank that they never existed, set up a website, and brought in millions and millions of dollars. Like there was nothing complex about it. I
Nothing.
remember thinking that same thing watching the Madoff movie and doc. Like, yo, Bernie Madoff got his own ecosystem. It's like 24 docs and 16 movies. Um, but when you watch that, it's like, yo, man was just really faking statements. There was nothing complex about it, really. And I think that's the thing that's like the most crazy to me when you see all these big cons, even with the FTX thing. There's nothing really complex about what he was lying.
Yeah, he just was lying to people.
Like, people be stealing millions and billions of dollars, and then it makes me think about, like, you know, the flip side. Why can they do that? Is because of greed overall, not just their greed, but the greed of the people that are giving them money. And not everybody, because sometimes you feel bad for some victims, but some people are being greedy though. Other thing I thought about is how he utilized celebrity to bring a lot of money in. And
Oh
for
man,
me, when I see a celebrity endorsement with something,
that's the end for me.
it kind of makes me run away the other way. And I'm like, yo, that's my brain must work a little different, right? I see a celebrity endorse something, I'm starting to get skeptical
Yeah, I'm out.
because let me say, no, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes, right? But this is why, from a marketing standpoint, if you ever taken a marketing class in college, we talked about that. It's like when you have someone that kind of like aligns with the brand, right? This is the genius of, say, like Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. All the work that he does falls in line with something that 50, like when 50 Cent did Vitamin Water, that made sense because he was known for being in a gym. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like 50 Cent like endorsing, you know, Toy Story, right? He endorsed things that go along with his brand. Even with the whole Power universe, it's him telling the narrative in a different way, which was already in his music. You look at someone like Nas with Hennessy. Nas been rapping about Hennessy for 30 years, so them partnering together kind of makes sense. I see Floyd Mayweather marketing their crypto. What the Floyd, like? What's the connection there?
None.
Then DJ Khaled. What's the? Why am I going to buy a crypto because DJ Khaled says to buy it?
Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady played football, dog.
You see what I'm saying? Like, to me,
Like,
like when I
what
see
do we know
a
about crypto?
celebrity in the brand and a
What do you know
celebrity,
about FTX?
yeah, when I see a celebrity in the brand and that celebrity like don't kind of mesh in my head,
You know what people think, and
I
they
run
think
away.
backwards. You know what happens is people say they got millions of dollars. If they invest in millions of dollars, I can invest my 500.
Yeah,
But
but if you know how that stuff works,
think about this though, they're not investing any money.
no.
They're being paid, and that's what people don't understand. They're not investing in anything. That money that they're making from that is they've been given a piece of something. Like they didn't put none of their own money in there. They've
Yeah.
been given a piece of it, and they got paid to do it. Like they don't understand how these deals work at all.
So Jose says greed stupidity. He says Larry David on the joint. He said, here's what Tom Brady is a risk taker. That's why he took the risk with FTX. I'd rather see Brett Favre. He's a bigger risk taker and a
Yeah,
thief and a criminal, but that's either here nor there. But when I see celebrity that doesn't kind of like align with the brand or whatever it is,
yeah.
I'm running the other way. That does not attract me
Like
to.
Floyd should do commercials for Evicta or auto, you know what I mean, like Audemars or something, you know what I mean, like
Well, I see Floyd now doing stuff
or
for his
Rolex
gym.
or Porsche or something.
I see Floyd
But
doing stuff now for the his gym. Like he has like
I mean that aligns
but
with
see what I'm saying? That works. In fact, I was looking the other. I think Floyd is raising capital for his. Let me see if I can find it again. Floyd is raising capital. I was on one of my favorite pre-IPO joints, and I saw Floyd raising capital for something he was doing. And I was like, oh, okay, money team. Floyd trying to take something public. See if I
why
can find
wouldn't
it real
he?
fast. But I think it was his gyms.
But
I
why
think it
wouldn't
was
he?
his gyms.
Why wouldn't he? Why would he keep paying his own bread in when he can get the public to do?
Yeah. But
I
let
mean,
me see if I can find it.
that's really what it is. That's really what it's about. Like, why keep spending my capital when I can spend yours? And that's really what they be doing. Like these dudes be wilded out, man. Like, and they be raising billions of dollars
Here
doing
you
this.
go, Core. He's raising a Republic Mayweather Fitness so far. He's already raised 3 M's from 133 investors, and he has 83 days left to invest. You can get in with as low as 250. By the way, side note, this is not investment advice. I was just talking about what I happened to see, happened to come across my feed this week. He got a whole pitch out here where he's talking about his revenue growth, his gym franchise, but he's looking at
And you know what's crazy?
his
That don't sound like a bad investment because I know he understands that business.
side note, his CEO is named James Williams and it's not me, so I just want to put that out there. So this is not so it's not me, and I'm not trying to raise capital, but this came across my desk, so I'm sharing it with y'all. That's all. So he got his whole background and story here, talks about it but this makes sense. This is Mayweather Fitness. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You pitching fitness makes sense to me. You pitching a crypto, I don't know
What are
about
you
that.
doing, dog?
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about that. You
Yeah.
don't know nothing about the technology. You don't know nothing about that, man.
So this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to take his gym all across the country. He's trying to have some franchise. He's talking about his franchise, but he's trying to make his gym. But that would make sense for arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time to have a franchise of gyms across that makes sense to me.
That makes sense that should make sense to most people.
And now he's diversifying into protein powders and things of that nature, which also makes sense to me, right? So nutritional products, fitness products, gaming, all of these things are all part of his ecosystem. So shout out to Floyd though. This is big business.
Yeah, but this is a case of staying in your lane, right? Like when you see somebody who known for something, let's just say selling real estate, and then they start selling you crypto, and then they start got a stock market. Like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like, you don't do no studying. You just riding waves. Like this is when I got pissed, right? And I don't want to, what I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spit on the black man name. So I'm just going, but it's just so many people, man. Like, come on.
I mean, it is what it is, man. I did tell y'all though that 2024, I'm working on my health, man. So if I lose a substantial amount of weight, you will see me selling nutritional products in your timeline. So I'm just letting y'all know now. Anyway, so Ant asked me, did I get my weekly dose of Al? I didn't see anything. Al dropped a new video this week. I didn't see it. It didn't hit my timeline. Not this week. I didn't see it, but I'll go check out and see what new he dropped. So he says, Favre got that bread through Ted DiBiase Jr., $1 Million Man, was initially on that case. Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, shout out to Virgil, man. Ted. Shout out to Virgil, though. Not the fashion Virgil, but the real Virgil. Well, I shouldn't say that. They both the real Virgil. The legend Virgil. So how to find startups like Miso Robotics. So there's a lot of ways you can find startups to invest in. And one thing I will caution you with about startups is
97% of them fail.
Yeah, I don't even know what the number is at this point, but I know it was about in the 90s. So I've lost money in there. But people I talk to in that space that do that kind of like full time, they always tell me like, "Yo, 9 out of 10 things you're investing gonna fail. It's about finding that one. You find that one may set you up for a long time." So
I'm the one.
So he just dropped 7 minutes ago. I'll check it out once I get off here. The YSL case. Yo, speaking of that, dog, I was watching some of the court stuff from that YSL case, dog. Yo, that prosecutor got to chill. Like, that case is so, it's a clown show. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm not a legal scholar or anything like that. Last thing, Core, is this. Did you happen to see the new movie that dropped called Dumb Money?
I heard it. I didn't see it. I will look at it tonight.
Okay, so Dumb
But
Money.
You know, I don't go anywhere to watch anything. Anything that involves me leaving my living room.
Well, no, I didn't leave either, but it came across my Anyway, I've seen it. I've seen the whole movie. It was very interesting watching it, and it was kind of like I see why Bull got off. Like the Bull who started the whole thing, he kind of like hasn't been online since 2021. The time he got offline, he was up 34 million. So, shout out to him.
No, for sure.
I didn't know about this, Jamil. He said Virgil is sick and has a GoFundMe up. He's been living with a fan for about 3 years. Damn. That's crazy, man. Them dudes be giving their like life, like literal blood, sweat, and tears, and then have nothing to show. I feel like $1 million Virgil to beating down $1 Million Man classic. Yeah. Hey, Dawn, what's up? What you doing? How are you?
Hey,
Hope
Dawn, what's going
everything is
on?
well. So listen, man. So that's pretty much what's going on this week. Vanguard is the ops. You know what I'm saying? I got jumped into the Charles Schwab gang. That's one. Bitcon was after how many of y'all actually saw Bitcon? Anybody see Bitcon or Dumb
Dumb
Money?
money.
Yeah, I felt like I got a little couple finance movies this week. Rarely do I get to see two in 1 week. So let me know if any of y'all saw that. Other than that, man, for those in the MDC, I'm going to do a short class probably next week. I got to find some time next week to try to do it about the Bitcoin ETF and there's various ways to use that as a strategy. Shout out to that. For those that haven't checked out the Bitcoin classes back there, we have a new Bitcoin class back in the MDC. Also, Brianna did a fire class about mystery shopping. She did one in 2024, so it's fresh. Check that out. Dawn says she wants to check out both Dumb Money and what the other one is called Bitcon on Netflix. Said I got overwhelmed with the Schwab website. I gotta try again. A lot of stuff you could do right through the app, even upload documents, everything you could do right through the app. All right, so let's see. Corey, with you being a fellow Texan. Now look at Corey, a Texan now. I knew Corey don't like that when you call him a Texan. Would you invest in TXS? So, Ant, that's a good question. I saw Erica talking about that. I didn't even know that was kind of like a
The answer to that is no, because I'm not a Texan.
Yeah. You still Philadelphian?
Or for the rest of my life, though. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I
people
love talking to my friends that live in other places, boy. They get offended. Like I was messing with my man Dev. I was like, dog, like you've been in Maryland longer than you've been in Philly at this point. No, I'm a Philadelphian. No, yeah, I get it. Anyway, but Ant though, that TXS is interesting though. I want to do more research on that, and I want to see like how many other states have something like that. I never really dug deep into that, but I just thought that was interesting. It's kind of interesting. And Texas is a hot spot in terms of businesses and things like that. So they might have better results than everybody else. I had got overwhelmed with I got that one already. Yes, we do have live trading. So Tone every once in the blue does live trading, but we are in there every day during a trading day, putting up ideas and all that. And then Tone pops up and actually jumps on and shows what he's looking at. That
Jay
too as
does
well.
does
Yeah, but within the course of the day, we in there all day
RSG.
long. I'm in there for the most part talking about Bitcoin and what's going on in the various Bitcoin markets. But Jay, Tone, Pass are all they put up so many plays this week. I couldn't even keep up. Like Pass is great with the seasonal plays, and he got that down to a T. Tone is there every day, and Jay is running a Tesla play pretty much every day, and a Matic play too. So shout out to our brothers. Pascal wants to know, you a Dallas fan now, yo?
No comment, though.
You about to piss Corey off, yo.
Yeah, like, come on, man. I like y'all. Stop asking me these crazy questions
Corey's not
so that I can continue to like you. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, stop asking me these crazy questions so I
Texas
can
is one of the
continue to
states
like
with a sovereign wealth fund. Every time I think of that, I think of what's the boy's name? Joe. What's his name? The Malaysian guy that ran the play with the sovereign wealth fund. Vanguard is for old rich
damn.
white men. No flavor in the investments. Yeah, see, but that's the thing though, and that's why it's so
That's
critical
not
because they do allow some of that craziness. Now, their brand is built upon, their founder and how he saw the vision for investing. I won't deny that. But it's like you can't be half pregnant, dog. Like you gotta like either you want to go just that way or you can't be.
half pregnant.
Yeah, man, you can't be.
Yeah,
Ain't no such
that don't
thing.
happen.
Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks, man. Scared to death. You scared to
ain't
death.
no halfway pregnancies either, bro.
That either. You heard about former Washington Wizards player Ryan Rollins. What happened to Ryan Rollins?
Ryan Hollins?
No, Ryan Rollins. Let me see. Let's see what happened to Ryan Rollins. I haven't heard about anything. What did he do?
Yeah, what the
No,
hell?
Hollins was baseball. Rollins is basketball.
Ryan Hollins was
Charged for shoplifting.
dog. He was working at ESPN. What are you doing? And you like 6'11".
No, you talking about Hollins again.
Okay.
She's talking about Rollins. Rollins is a guard for the Wizards. He's out here shoplifting now?
Doing way too much.
Yo, less than $1,000 from Target. Like, yo. All right, man.
Just because you can. Like,
all right, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep that. Whatever.
Yo, I have no idea what happened. Oh, you talking about his name wasn't Travis James, it was Trevin James. Now you talking about like I don't even know, man. I remember them dudes though. They used to be going crazy on the internet when that scam. Dog, anytime your crypto has a founder, run. Okay, healthcare and cybersecurity. All right, Pascal, we got like you gotta give us some plays. You gotta get in there and drop your plays too. Oh yeah, he did say that. Trayvon James. Yeah, that was his name. That was it. Put that vanilla in your portfolio and let the blend give you some money. He's a current player and was stealing.
Yeah, man. What are you doing? What are you like? You getting an NBA check, dog? Why are you stealing out of Target?
Some
It's like the
people,
Dallas Cowboys young boy. The Dallas Cowboys young boy had a 3-year, $30 million contract and got caught stealing
who
drawers
was
out.
the actress that got caught stealing and she had money? Was it Winona Ryder?
Yeah, she was just doing it for sport. Like
Yeah.
she had like $50 million and she was just stealing lipstick and stuff. Like she was wilding.
All right, CrowdStrike, FTNCS. All right, I'll do the due diligence on those. I'm gonna put this up so I can come back to this.
Man, I got a whole list of them companies. You missing like 30 companies, Pascal.
No. He said this is what he's looking at right now.
I'm just saying, it's like I got a list of those companies from the last time Bitcoin was popular that I actually the only reason my what's the name account is open is because I still have those in my account from 2017 when I bought them on my what's
Yeah,
the
but CrowdStrike is these are securities he's talking about.
yeah, I got FTNT, I got PNW, I got all of those Jones. I got all of the Bitcoin
Because Eli
Jones.
Lilly. Well, CrowdStrike cybersecurity? It's cybersecurity.
Yeah. I don't have CrowdStrike in it, but remember we was messing with Les and I bought a bunch of them Jones.
So Eli Lilly, that's the pharmaceutical joint. But I'm a here's the one thing I'm gonna focus on. This is why another reason why I'm excited about the Bitcoin ETF when other folks aren't is I'm gonna like religiously follow the price action of that. If I can get to the point where I'm just trading like my slow mover like XLRE and say IBIT and maybe like Google because I still like trading Google, then I'm gonna stop looking at everything else. It's literally, kleptomania is a real sickness. No telling how long he's been doing it. It's not about the lack of money. Yeah,
No, for sure. It's just
that thrill they get when they get away with it.
yeah.
It's like when I'll kick your coverage and get some yams. You just don't. Never mind. All right, listen.
Slow down.
I know I'm starting to talk too much, man. All right, so let me chill. Let me keep it professional. We are getting ready to do our weekly Bitcoin giveaway. For those that may be here for the first time, we're going to give away $25 of Bitcoin, and it's random. You just put a 1 in the chat. We're going to spin the wheel. Whoever wins, you have to let us know you're still here. Then shoot me a message, core message, by the hood a message, and we will get you paid this evening. So put your ones in the chat if you'd like to be put into our giveaway. For those that haven't yet, make sure you check out our weekly podcast. We just dropped episode 200 in Steve Atwater, which is about the Bitcoin ETF. So let's see. Let's get to the wheel of names.
Man, listen.
And while everyone puts their ones in the air.
Throw your ones in the air. Throw your ones in the air.
All right, boom. There we go. Yo, something else I saw crazy this week too. I just want to put this out there because I just saw it this week on my Twitter timeline. There was a young lady, right, who had put up a post about her hairdresser. And she gave her hairdresser a deposit to hold her spot, right? I'm saying this as I type, y'all. Because this was the craziest thing I saw on my timeline this week. Because first off, $250 deposit. How much is your hair?
You getting done to your hair?
Yeah, that was the first thing. All right, but that has nothing to do with the story. So to make a long story short, her stylist had to cancel for whatever reason, emergency or something. So the lady asked for her deposit back. And the stylist was like, I mean, I can give you a credit towards the next time you come, or you can buy some wigs or something, but there's no refund policy. And the chick's like, hey, I'm not canceling. You're canceling because you had an emergency, so you need to get my money back. And her stylist is basically like, well, I ain't giving it back, so get it back in blood. She didn't say those words, but that's what she was saying.
Damn.
What was crazy about it is it started going viral. So the spiritual world put it on their site, like the whole screenshots and all that. The shade room got it. And no, I don't be on the shade room of the spiritual world for y'all start judging me, but I do be on the internet. And anytime something reaches that level on I may call it the Negro sphere, it comes across my timeline, dog, because people retweet everything on Twitter. I saw the whole thing on Twitter. Now, I will say this, though. What was dope about it is the spiritual world, because the content went viral. They straight cash app sis $500. Like, here, now you made whole. Since we used your content and got all these views, they go a couple dollars. So now you got your money back, right? So that was kind of dope to see. But now, here's what's interesting about it. Everybody start going in about their stylists. Now, this happened in, where do you think this happened, Corey? I mean, you ain't even talk about this. If I say, where do you think this happened at?
Somewhere down south.
Atlanta.
Okay.
But that led to a bunch of different threads with women from Detroit, women from Philly, like, well, let's talk about our stylists. And I found myself reading this stuff. And I guess, I don't know nothing about this. So shout out to the ladies watching, because women be out here getting abused by their stylists just to get their hair done. Some of these stories I was reading, bro, I'm like just straight disrespect. Like, this kind of leads to our overall story. Like, I'm not going to be giving you my money and you disrespecting me. But the hairdressing game is like a whole different underworld, dog. They like the hairdressers that especially that have a name for themselves.
Oh yeah, it's thuggery.
They like full thugs out here, cuz.
Yeah, it's pure thuggery, dog.
I knew nothing about that life. I'm reading
I'm
this and I'm in shock. I'm in shock reading this, bro.
So when I, back when I had hair and I used to go to the barber shop weekly, my barber was so popular that it was like a 4.5 hour wait time. And so,
but here's what I'll say about that,
the
bro.
Stuff that I seen him do to people, I was like, damn, bro. Like, if you
here's what I'll say about that, though, right? Some of the stories, and y'all can go look up the thread. Just look up Philly hairstylists or Atlanta hairstylists.
It happened to dudes too, bro. It happened to dudes.
Not like this, bro. If the stuff that the women go through happened, people will get shot.
Listen, man, I seen people do some crazy stuff, and I'm not saying that all stylists do this. I'm just saying the high end, high profile stylists, bro. And listen, I only know a few, right? And it's like 50-50s. Half of them, they don't do none of that stuff. And then the other half, some of the stuff I see them do, I'll be like, damn, bro, like, I will punch you in your face if you said that to me.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is men will have it out for some of the stuff that I see the women on the time. Like, these stories, see, here's the thing, like, men will rumble. Not that women won't rumble, but like, I didn't realize that, like, this is just what they were going through to make sure they get their hair done. Like, this is about to be a crazy reference. It's like, if anybody ever seen that TV show, like All the Queen's Men, these hairstylists be out here acting like the chick Madam off that show. It's just completely insane, satisfying world. All right, I'm putting these names in. I'm gonna read them off in a second once I get everybody's name put up. Dawn, Greg, and Jamil. I'm gonna send you the thread, Core, because it's like, yo.
No, you're not. You are not dragging me into that.
I know you don't be on here. I gotta keep you abreast of the madness.
No, bro, you're not sending me that. I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't want to know. No, I don't care about none of that. No. Don't send me that, bro. I don't want to know. I don't care. Like,
Cloud with TJ.
I'll tell you this. Like, I know how. Listen, man, people be out here peopling hard, so I know. You know what I mean? Like, it
also made me realize something else. I'm laughing at these comments. She says highway robbery. Said the hairstylist turning to Pooh Shiesty. Yep. Lorraine had it right.
Hoodie and masked up and ready to go do their thing, man.
Final form Clay. Yo, Lorraine had it right before I even said something. Atlanta. So see, Lorraine said, let's not talk about them 8 hour point. Yo, that was part of it. Like just straight disrespect, yo. All right. I did see that. I haven't checked it out, but I did see that. That hit the timeline. All right. So Brittany know about my Ratchet TV show because she said that's a perfect analogy. Yes, I do watch. That's one of my I'm gonna keep it a being with you, Cole. I'm about to say something on air. One of my guilty pleasures is Tyler Perry shows on BET. I ain't gonna lie to you, like Corey shaking his head. The sisters, all the Queens men, bruhs. Like I find myself watching them joints. Right.
That's come on, man.
That's one of my guilty.
Yo, come on, man. You one of the smartest people I know, dog.
Listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you why. But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. No, it's not the Jones where he in a dress. It's not the I don't
care about that, man. People could wear dresses. None of that.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying it's not like I forgot the name of them other joints.
Medea
costumes. It's not them. It's all the new joints though, like all the Queens men, sisters, all them. And you gotta have balance, bro. You gotta have balance. See, Brittany knows what I'm talking about. But no, for me though, it's interesting his storytelling. Like I'm like, all right, so he obviously grew up watching soap operas. It's a lot of cliffhangers and things like that. So I look at it just from a business perspective. It's marketing. I'm learning how to tell stories. At least that's the story I'm sticking to.
Listen,
anyway, with that being said, let me read these names off. And Dawn says, by the way, this is why I do my own hair. I'm not going through that with anybody. They have no understanding of customer care. Dawn, I'm glad you said that because that was one of my takeaways from reading that whole thread is that, and then going through what I went through with Vanguard is like, we got to do a better job just as business owners in terms of customer service overall. I often say that every business is a customer service business. I don't care whether you're selling food, whether you're selling hair, whether you're selling yams, whether you're selling tires, whatever it is you're selling, it's a customer service business.
And if somebody's buying it, then you got a customer to serve.
And it's almost like people like get off on abusing their customers and clients now. And I see a lot of it online where, especially when people get popular, they talk down on the people that made them popular. It's like, I don't understand that. So that was one of my takeaways from reading that thread, but I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, if this was dudes, it'd be like shots fired. But anyway, with that being said, let me read these names. Cheating Ass Vidon, Pascal, Champ, Rich, Lorraine, Brittany, Rochelle, Sam, Noble, Sakina, K. Diggy, Brandon, Satisfying World, Dawn, Greg, Jamil, Daniel, Ant, Jose, Cloud with TJ, Carlos, Final Form, Clay. Am I missing anyone? Hey, listen, Don. Even if you got $40 dates, you gotta still have great customer service, dog. Like,
that's how you get. That's because that's a volume business. If you're selling it for $40,
I don't judge.
You gotta be doing volume.
I don't judge nobody. But the point is,
listen. I'm not. Listen, neither do I, because I'm never going to be mad as long as you're not scamming. If you're giving people exactly what you told them you were going to give them for the price that you said you were going to give them, then you're doing good business.
There you go.
I don't really care about what you're selling. I don't. If you promise somebody something at a price and they get what they supposed to get for the price they were supposed to get it, you're doing good business.
So, see, but this is another one, right? So, Ed says there's a show on BET Plus called Kingdom Business that looks interesting, but I don't partake in that app at all. I'm a YouTube guy, right? So I'm a YouTube guy too, but I do partake in the app, and I am on. I have seen the first season of Kingdom Business, which was also enlightening to me. It's not a Tyler Perry show, but it is a black show. Hey, listen, man, I support black business, core.
Hey, listen, man.
But so the thing about Kingdom Business, which kind of like messed me up, is that Yolanda Adams is on there. She's the star of the show, and it's about the business. It's like
I know. My wife watched it.
Dog, but she's like a evil lady on the show, and I'm used to Yolanda Adams. I don't know her personally, so I don't know how she acts in real life. But her persona and her brand is like a wholesome, like aunt type figure. And on here, she's a straight gangster. So it kind of like took me back for a loop. But I have watched that first season, and it also gives me a different look. I'm not a church person. So to see the inner workings of like church and how gangster it gets in church, it's like, whoa. But again, to your point, Core, people always going people. It's gangsters in every profession,
Every
every
single
business,
one.
but including the church though, dog. Like they probably
Listen,
the biggest gangsters.
yeah, about to say that's where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gangsters started.
Historically speaking, the Catholic Church. Anyway,
The biggest gangsters on planet Earth.
another one is
And I
called
said it. Jim ain't say that. That's just
that's
me.
core. Another one is the Black Hamptons that's on there. That's kind of interesting too. Anyway, when Jimmy said yams, I'm like, is he talking about yams or yams? I'm talking about yams.
Yams.
Sweet yams. What y'all think about the backlash Willie D got for sitting on his cat interview and piggybacking? All right, that's an interesting question because it was clear that he was sitting on that for a while. It was clear when you watch it that this was because at first I was like, oh, he about to do the rounds because he did what he did to go viral, and now Willie D. But I'm like, when you watch it, you're like, Willie D was sitting on this. So I mean, he kind of missed out, right? Because if he would have dropped beforehand, people would have went back and ran and watched it. Not that they didn't watch it anyway, because Cat Williams had created a whole ecosystem. Funniest thing about it is, even when like Kevin Hart, this new movie he got that came out today, I only knew about it because Cat dissed him. So Cat actually did everybody a favor. A subscription business model. Don, I don't know where you are, bro. They got $40 a day subscriptions now. Like I don't know what app Don I ain't using, dog. That's a new one to me, dog. All right, Corey, you left out in receiving in a timely manner.
Okay. So do what you say you're gonna do. When you say you're gonna do it, give people what they ask for and do it in a timely manner.
There you go. You'd be surprised, especially in the church. Yeah, churches are gangsters. Stephen A's rebuttal to Whitlock. Oh, yeah, I forgot that happened this week too.
Damn. I gotta go back and watch that because
my thoughts on that are Whitlock has been chopping at him for damn near a year. Now, Whitlock turned it up with once he read Stephen A's book. But I know a lot of folks in that industry, and I've never heard one good thing said about him.
Jason Whitlock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he a trash dude.
I've never heard one person say anything good about him. So that's all I know. Yo-Yo was a churchy gangster. Hold up, Yo-Yo was in the church? I didn't know that.
Yolanda Adams.
Oh, all right. I'm thinking of You Can't Play With My Yo-Yo. Don't try to play me out. When you see Yo-Yo, that's the first. No, mind. All right, we getting ready to spin, y'all. Check out the Chitlin Man on Facebook or YouTube. Cat out of Memphis that sells chitlins. What? Po chitlin egg rolls with rice and greens.
Oh, stop!
Chitlin quesadillas and chitlin pizza out his crib. What? What is a chitlin?
Stop, man! You making my steak crawl, dog. I don't even know.
See, all right. So Ant is a YouTube guy just like me, right? And I consider myself a YouTube guy. Jamil be deeper in the YouTube streets than anybody I know. Jamil be finding content, dog.
Oh God.
Jamil be finding the wildest content.
And I don't get queasy easily. Just looking at that, reading that made me queasy, dog. Like that's just
Jamil, you be too deep in these content streets, bro. How'd you even find a Chitlin Man? Yeah, I'm cool on that one. Hey, Hope. Yeah, even Ant, who's a YouTube connoisseur, said no, he can't deal with the Chitlin Man. All right, I'm reading these names out for the last time. Then we're gonna get our spin and we're gonna get out of here. Cheating ass Vidon, Pascal, Champ, Rich, Lorraine, Brittany, Rochelle, Sam, Noble, Sakina, K. Diggy, Brandon, Satisfying World, Dawn, Greg, Jamil, Daniel, Ant, Jose, Cloudwood, TJ, Carlos, Final Form, Clay. I'll give you about 30 seconds. Let me know if I'm missing your name, and then we'll spin and get out of here. I said I've never been down that rabbit hole, and I've had my trips. Yeah, Dawn said that's disgusting as well. Yeah, the YouTube rabbit hole is something crazy. It's something absolutely insane.
I can't make myself like.
All right, so let me add Hope to the list, and that'll be the last name we add. All right, y'all. So remember, let me know you're still here once we spin, and then we'll know. I do want to clarify this though. Does anyone know the real story behind a Lincoln professor who committed suicide? So I went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, right? So I got a couple like text messages more like, yo, what's going on at your school? Blah, blah, blah. And I looked and I was like, well, he ain't the president of Lincoln. I thought the president of Lincoln was a black woman. This is Lincoln University in Missouri, somewhere, this is not the Lincoln University. You dig? So just want to put that out there. But the story she's talking about, there was another professor who was allegedly getting bullied by the president. And she committed suicide and left a note and all that, and now everybody's trying to get the president to step down. They said he's nothing but a big bully. To make it even worse, even this Lincoln in Missouri is also at HBCU, and the guy that everybody is calling a bully, who they're claiming is responsible for her doing this, is a white guy. So they had a white guy running their HBCU to begin with. So, but I don't know how y'all feel about that, but don't tell 12 they might send the pipe squad to my door. All right. You cool, Jamil. All right, y'all. Good luck. Let's get ready to spin. Remember, let us know you here. Send me your cash tag. Get your Bitcoin this evening. And let's see. And the winner is, oh, my man. No.
She does
Don.
Don got a whole Bitcoin off us, dog.
For those who don't know, the reason we jokingly call him, that's our brother. We love him dearly. But the reason we call him cheating ass V-Don is because Don has a way of winning a lot of these. We don't know how he does it. And it don't matter whether it's here, live on a Friday. Don has come to our webinars and won stuff. Like, we don't know what Don do. We think Don, we know he's a military dude, but he must got CIA clearance or something.
Yeah, he got clearance. He got high level clearances.
Yeah. And it's only right that Don wins on the night that I slander Vanguard. 2024 starting off good. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I slander Vanguard and V-Don wins. We also call him V-Don because he's a huge fan of Vanguard, as I was before this week. So said Don got the juice for show. All right, y'all. So listen, check out our podcast, episode 200, and Steve Atwater is up. We'll be on episode 200 and Daryl Green next week. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share our YouTube channel. We're trying to get our goal of 2024 is to get 10,000 subs on YouTube. So if you're not sub, please do. We appreciate the support. And just stay in tune with us, y'all. We love y'all. Please stay safe out there. Happy New Year if we haven't told y'all. And we'll see you back here next Friday for another giveaway. And send some more shots at some other people, man. Not just hairdressers and Vanguard, but we'll find somebody else. But enjoy your week. Stay safe. We love y'all. Peace.